I needed a desk for my gaming PC, with some space for my server on the bottom. I had a design in mind that I could have built by myself, only using basic tools. However, my friend, let's call him Yartho, suggested we build it together. He has tools that are more suited for building furniture, so I agreed. A quick warning though, if poor planning triggers you, be prepared to be triggered, or don't watch, maybe? The desk should be about 70 centimeters high, 70 to 75 centimeters wide, and 65 to 70 centimeters deep. On the bottom there should be a spot for my file server, and some space where I can hide an Ethernet switch and maybe put in a gaming console. You already saw my amazing design, but Yartho suggested something even more amazing. When I first built the file server, I was already thinking about building this desk, which is why I bought the rack mount case in the first place. Now that we knew what to build, we first wrote down what sizes we'd have to cut each MDF plate to, and then marked those sizes onto the plates using a pencil. With the table saw we were using, it wasn't necessary for most of the cuts, but it's nice to have as a confirmation that the saw is set to the right measure. We started with the side, top and bottom pieces, and once everything was marked down, we proceeded to the cutting. Once we were done cutting the outer walls to almost measure, it was time to start heating up the pizza oven. With the oven slowly warming up, it was time to cut the last two pieces. 9U rack height is exactly 40 centimeters, so we made the vertical middle plate about 41 centimeters high. I doubt that I will need more than 4U or maybe 5U, but since I make music too, you never know. 9U should be plenty. I can fit the server, a rack mount audio interface if I decide to upgrade in the future, and I'll still have 4 units left. Once we finished cutting the middle plates, we also cut some wooden blocks to use as feet later. We managed to finish cutting everything just a few minutes after 8 PM. Perfect, time to assemble the pieces. The MDF boards are 18mm thick, so we drew a line at 9mm away from the edge. Next we drilled countersunk holes along that line to screw the parts together. Then we assembled everything using wood glue and screws. There was one issue though. I didn't measure the server case before leaving home, which is about a 3-hour and 45-minute drive away. I thought it's standard rack size, we'll figure it out. That was stupid. Measuring beforehand is better than trying to find the information later, and would have cost less time. We started late in the afternoon on a Saturday, and we wanted to stop using the table saw before 8 PM, so we wouldn't disturb Yartho's neighbors too much. Technically, we could be noisy until 10, but it's always nice to not make noise that late on a Saturday. By the time we were ready to start, it was getting late already. So after googling for a couple of minutes and not finding what I was looking for, I just gave up and assumed that the case was 19-inch wide and that the mounting hardware in front was sticking out past that. In hindsight, I could have just googled again after we finished sawing, but oh well. Since I made an assumption about the server width, we didn't actually glue the vertical plate in. It was only held in by screws, so I could move it before painting. In retrospect, it would probably have been smarter to not install it at all until I was back home. Anyway, now that the desk was assembled, it was time for a break. The pizza oven was warmed up, and Yartho had prepared everything to make Flammkuchen, or tarte flambée. I'm not really sure what it's called in English. Is it flame cake? Either way, it's delicious. After dinner, we brought the desk inside and used some wood filler to cover the screws. Then we left it to harden overnight. The next day, we did some sanding to get rid of the excess filler, and we drilled a couple of holes in the back so I can pass cables through. Then I had to leave to drive the 376 kilometers back home. Luckily, we didn't attach the feet to the desk yet, because without them, it just barely fit through the front door at my place. Once I managed to get it inside, I cleaned it off once more and placed it in export for now. I also finally measured the server case, and my assumption was wrong. That was so surprising. I really did not expect that at all. The server, including the mounting hardware, will fit in a 19-inch white space. So before painting, I had to move the vertical plate over a little bit. Anyway, that's it for... Oh wait, Google says leaving unpainted MDF in your room is a bad idea, because it's emitting fumes? Alright, I was gonna wait for better weather before painting, so I could do it outside, but I guess I'll have to find a way to paint it inside my apartment. I ordered white spirit-based paint to use as an undercoat, and water-based paint for the top coat. The white spirit-based paint will give off some nasty fumes as well, so I'll have to make sure those don't get sucked into my living room and bedroom. This is the layout of my apartment. When all windows and doors are closed, it seems like the air is slowly moving from the front door through the whole apartment, and it is sucked out through the bathroom. That means from a paint fumes perspective, the kitchen is probably the only room in my apartment where I can use the solvent-based paint safely. There is also ventilation above the stove and a door that I can open to let in more air. First I had to correct the mistake that was caused by my assumption. In order to undo the screws, I had to drill out the wood filler covering them, and then I removed the vertical plate. Next I measured where the vertical plate needed to sit, marked it down with a pencil, and drilled the new holes. Painting the desk took me well over a week. It already took 2 days just to get the first undercoat on. I had to let the paint dry for about 24 hours before I could turn the desk over and paint the other side. Even after 24 hours, the paint was still slightly tacky, because the temperatures outside were around 10 degrees Celsius and I left the kitchen door open for several hours after painting. So applying one coat meant painting half, waiting a day, paint the other half, and wait another day. I think I ended up with 3 undercoats and 2 top coats. I don't have any wood filler at home, and I forgot to order some. But I still had some wood glue, so I just used that to fill up the holes and cover the screws. I'm sure some of you are cringing seeing me dip the roller into the paint like that, but I swear it's fine. I just had to make sure to distribute the paint properly. I've also painted walls and other things like that before, and it always turned out fine. I was also using this kind of mohair roller, even though you're supposed to use a foam roller for MDF. I actually like the way it turned out though. For some reason, I kind of ended up putting on more wood glue after painting the first undercoat. No idea what I was thinking, but if you do a project like this, even if you're using wood glue to fill small gaps, make sure to finish that before starting to paint. Another thing I didn't do but maybe should have done is sanding down the previous coat a little bit before applying another one. The surface seemed to be rough enough to paint over, and I don't mind the texture, so I decided to see what happens if I didn't sand it down. The desk is finally done. I'll just put it in its spot. The server will be added in another video, because there's still some work to do on that first. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'd like to thank Yartho for his help with this project. Without him, it would have been harder to complete, and it definitely would have taken longer. Not only does he have better tools than me, but he has also built a few pieces of furniture in the past, so he's a little bit more experienced than me when it comes to building this kind of stuff. Let me know what you thought about this video and the project in general. Is there anything you would have done differently? I mean, besides measuring the case first, being more precise with the table saw, and not dipping the roller into the paint can maybe? Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe. This channel is not really focused on a specific topic, but there will be more DIY projects, some music I make, and more. Thank you all for watching and see you next time.